What's up, everybody? I'm Elliott-Carter, and this is the Intellectual Controversy Podcast.
Into the thing that you said of why millennials are no longer in the
church.
Correct. Like why we're at an 87%.
Right.
Like I like that number distinctively keeps popping in my head every time I read that article back in 2015, and it might have went up more. 87% increase of African American millennials no longer being involved in the church. And so when I read that article, I spoke to a few of my friends, some of the people we know, some we both know together, and some I just know. And their main thing that they will always say is, you just gonna give me the Bible as the be all know all.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
That don't work.
Like,
I need more than that.
Like, there are things that we're going through in our community now.
Yes.
That
I don't see
is
in the
not
scriptures.
in the scripture.
Where is that in the scripture?
So unless you're going to upgrade the Bible, which I believe the Bible says not to do, then I really can't look at your 19. What I'm trying to think of a BC year, the year 14. I can't I can't get my the year 14 BC and the year 2017.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sure it worked for Josephine or whoever lived back then. It doesn't work for me.
It don't work for me now.
No,
I feel you.
Like I said, if you was gonna add a chapter, would it be Chirac? Chapter 1, verse 1.
Yeah.
There are no gun stores here, but why do we have all the guns?
A good place to start would be Martin Luther King, and then work your way up. If you were to do that.
This thing, as we talked about with church and why, it's the why. A lot of kids now need to know the why.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong. There are questions my son asks me every day. I'm like,
nothing wrong with saying that you don't know.
Or I don't know.
Exactly.
Let's try to figure it out together. But at the end of the day, the one thing I press back to is love and kindness. Let's always try to do things with the right state of mind. Let's always try to think of our neighbor as ourselves. Because as long as we do that, we're not going to mess it up for the most part.
Absolutely.
And we all, but with love, we also have to get to the point where there are going to be some moments where love and kindness isn't always going to be the answer. Jesus, like let's just put that out there. Jesus, as loving and as kind as he was, had to run up in the temple and straight bum rush on some people and destroy some stuff. Why? It wasn't so much of the anger and the frustration. It was more so of this is something that I believe so much in that you are destroying and that you are tainting the sanctity of what it is that I believe in.
Absolutely. There's a difference between being angry and hateful.
Right.
Everybody gets angry. Angry is just like a reflection
emotion.
If you're not angry, it shows that you were passionate about that. It came from love. That anger came from love.
And here's the thing: Jesus was very meticulous in everything that he did. Everything that he did.
Right.
So we can't sit here and believe and think that when he walked up in the temple and saw all of that, he didn't have a plan already set in motion. Even in the anger that he was in, this is what's going to happen. I'm gonna run over here, smack him in his face. I'm gonna throw this table up. I'm gonna run over here. I'm gonna grab this whip. I'm gonna beat them. I'm gonna beat them out of
this is the funniest thing playing in my head. What's that you selling in my
Matrix?
Take both sides.
And so we're eventually going to get to the point, like as a people, we're eventually going to get to the point where it may come in the thought of love and kindness, but we're gonna have to run up.
About that action,
we're gonna have to run up and bum rush the show.
I agree.
And not necessarily. Here's the thing: not necessarily like literally bum rush the show, as in, yo, my G, like I'm finna just start going out here and shooting cops and shooting white.
Seen that don't work.
Shooting cops and shooting
makes
white
it harder
people.
I mean, they still kind of doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I agree with what you were just saying about out of all this love, it's going to come anger. But there are some that it has come to hate.
Yeah.
And that's what I talked about before, like when we talk about flammable. That's why I always try to stay on this side of it. And that's why I think sometimes people are like, man, that's kind of weak. If we don't keep ourselves in check, we run the risk of, if you set out to, go do your poetry or, your rhymes that you're writing, but in the end you get so filled with hatred. When you go to deliver that on a performance, it's not going to connect to the people you meant to connect. And you spent hours trying to craft that because of the love you have for it.
Well,
so that's the danger I feel in that as well.
Well, in that anger and, like I said, in that anger and frustration that Jesus had a meticulous plan. So what we do as people, in the anger and frustration that we have, we start having think tanks such as this.
No, I agree.
And
keeps the ego in check.
And start coming up with strategic plans that combat the white supremacy that we are facing every day, to the point where we have literally, with our strategic plans and initiatives that we've set in motion in our own community, we bum rush.
And having strategic plans that are the solutions to the problem.
Exactly.
And a good place to start would be the intellectual controversy.